Okay, so I've gone through three of the actual cameras I'm going to sell, but I'm going to keep three cameras, and I want to go through those three, and I'll give you the reason why right at the end of the video, because there is a particular reason why I'm keeping these three, other than the fact is there's plentiful lenses and they're relatively cheap to buy lenses for these three that I'm actually keeping. So that's one of the reasons, but that isn't the main reason. So we'll start off with my Minolta X-300. I know they go up, there's a 6 or 700, 700 or 600 or something, and they obviously have more functionality within them. Now, I believe this is quite like the Olympus, where you have to have a battery in for the shutter to work. I think it's electronic shutter. I think actually all the three cameras I've got are electronic shutters, obviously with the mechanical reset. Anyway, so the X300, I think is a great camera, and it is fully automatic, or fully, sorry, it's aperture priority. Okay, sorry, let's get back to this. I keep on getting interrupted by my phone pinging, because I had a booking come through, and it tends to ping 2 or 3 times when that happens. Anyway, so let's get back to the video. So the actual camera is aperture priority, and it's also can actually work manually as well. So by just switching around here, I think it's bulb a second up to, I think is it 1,000th of a second if I go the other way. Yeah, so it's basically what the cameras, not many cameras are doing much past 1,000th second at the time this come out. I think there might have been a few, but there you go, it's gone again. Anyway, so what I like about it is it's so well designed, where the buttons are, where the actual you turn the dial to change the actual setting on the shutter speed. Now I used to have a Canon AE1, and it had a big dial to rotate the actual shutter, and quite often I'd actually have the actual strap catch it and actually move it around, and I didn't notice it sometimes. So when I was working, say, in the studio, when I wasn't looking at the actual what the light meter was saying to me and just firing away, it had gone from its flash setting, and I was getting lots of problems with that. So where this one is you have to make a very firm decision that you're actually going to change the actual setting. One of the other things that's really nice about it is, and I didn't know this, I've got a film inside here, and I don't know if you can see. I don't know if I can zoom. Can I zoom in? Can I zoom in any further? I think that's about it. You can see it's set to 400 ISO. So I think I know what I've got in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to go out and have some fun. I'm going to take the rest of this film in here, but I'll do the other two cameras now. So next up for you is my Pentax MV, and this is really quite basic in the sense of you only have aperture priority. I don't think there's any other controls other than the flash control. Let me just turn this around so you can have a look. So yeah, so it's either auto, 100th of a second for the flash and bulb, and then you've got the you can change the settings for the ISOs up to 1600 ISO. So literally the only control you've got is the aperture. Again, it's another aperture priority, and this is a 1.7 to f22 lens, which is quite a good range. And the other thing it does, it focuses the other way. All the other cameras I've got, the lenses, this one focuses that way to infinity, where all the others focus this way. So it was kind of like a bit of a difficult thing when I first started to use it to try and focus. I was focusing the wrong way. But that's the second camera, the MV. It was a gift from my dad. He bought it in a charity shop, didn't know whether it worked at all. Said, can you test it out? And then he said, oh, you might as well keep it. So that's basically what I did, and I've put loads of films through it. I take it out quite often. So it's one of the three cameras I use the most, similar to the others. And last but not least, my OM20. The lens I got with the original lens I got with this was the 50mm, and that come with a broken OM10. And the seller said, "Oh, just don't bother sending it back." And I kept the lens. So my 50mm lens is from another camera. The difference between the 10 and the 20, I think this one, the difference is you can run completely manually on this one, where the OM10 you couldn't. It was only aperture priority, and you had to put some sort of device on the side of it to actually make it a manual camera. Back in the day, I kind of turned my nose up at it, and so you can see it's got different. Let's have a look at the settings. See if I can zoom in a bit more. Let's have a look. So yeah, I can just hear about the battery check. Obviously, don't leave it switched on because it does drain the battery. And then you've got the different settings where you can switch the bulb, and then you can switch into manual. So you can have a manual, camera's completely manual, off, and then auto. The auto really is obviously aperture. Again, it's aperture priority, and then you've got the check button. So this one has exposure compensation on it. So you obviously got the plus and plus 2 and -2. It also is used for setting your ASA and or ASA, and it's kind of a weird because you have to lift it up and then spin it and then click it back. So it's kind of strange, and then you can get it wrong. It can be quite fiddly. So I go back to there like that. It's electronic shutter, self timer. And so it's really funny when the battery goes, you press the button and it might half trigger and that's it, and then you suddenly realise your battery's dead. So let's zoom back out again. Okay, there we go. And it's obviously an f1.8, f16. One of the things I do like about the Olympus lenses is the actual, I'll take that off, the actual filter size on the lenses that I've got are all the same. So that all, I don't know what they are they 50? Oh, I can't see from here. It actually doesn't say on the front. Anyway, comments below, you can tell me what the filter size is. And my actual lens cap doesn't say what it is either. And it's actually a Pentax. Anyway, so first of all, why I'm keeping this one is I actually effected a repair on this one once, and it fixed the problem, which is really cool. But I actually have more lenses for this than I do any other camera, so that's the reason for keeping it. And now for the explanation of why I've chosen these 3 cameras. And you may say it's well they're older and they're the more classical look of a camera. Yes, there is that to it. But I'd always been a Canon fan, and I'd never used Olympus, Minolta and Pentax. I never owned one, and I now own one of each, and I'm not particularly bothered about the Canons, to be honest with you. I think I've got T70, and that's it. So, and then obviously the 3 more modern EOS lenses, and that's why. It's because I never owned these back in the day, and I quite often turn my nose up at some of them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in a video when I've taken that roll of film.